Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you now for remaining with us since the beginning of the show. It's exactly 29 minutes past the hour of 10, and my name is Anthony, and I'm your host. Now, regarding the performance of the oil index of Uganda, and this is the benchmark index for the Ugandan market here on the Uganda Securities Exchange. As you can see on the graph, nothing much has pretty changed. But today, just of the close of yesterday's markets, we are seeing figures going in green. As you can see, green always means that things are rising, and the markets are moving in the positive direction. Now, on the screen on my right, as you can see, the index went up yesterday by over 23.04, and that is an inch up of 1.86%. And it went up to points of up to 1,261, as you can see here, meaning we are back to the 1,200 realm, and we don't seem to be going backwards anymore. But we will see about that as the markets, play out today. Now, this is the graph showing the index, and the index, if it is new to you today, is simply the average performance of companies that are listed on the exchange. And this all-share index, the other indices like the local company index that monitors or tracks the performance of the domestic companies. This index monitors or tracks the performance of all the listed entities, both the cross-listed and the domestically listed companies. And look, this morning it went up by over 23 points up to 1,260 points. Now, it's measured in terms of points, not prices. Definitely, because these performances do not include currencies. They eliminate the performance in terms of currency. So you look at points and then track that performance. We are seeing that this index is above the 1,200 mark, and it was last seen in that realm in around the month of June, at the beginning of the month of June, closing April, and we are seeing that before that it was still in the below that range, but it went above the 1,200 and then to 1,300 and hit a very high peak somewhere between March and May, and we see it still between the 1,300 to 1,400 mark in the month of February and as well. And then in November 2021, it was still within the same realm, though it dipped a little bit between November and January, probably during December. And then we are seeing that November and September, the index was still between 1,300 and 1,004, meaning looking at the performance just of yesterday, we in the index towards the 1,300 mark, which is probably the average mark over the last 16 months, as we can see and monitor of the Uganda Securities Exchange all-share index. Now, regarding performance as well, we know that the index has been, of course, one of the highly performing, and this definitely because of the fact that some of the listed companies gained by way better, percentages. Looking at the top 4 gainers, and the gainers were actually more than 4. There were 6 gainers and 5 listed equities that participated in trading, and this could be, of course, the attributable factors to this kind of growth that we are seeing in this particular all-share index. But then again, still looking at the top gainer here, National Media Group. If we look at the details of this particular counter, now the National Media Group is a media house, definitely cross-listed from the Nairobi market, a Nairobi Stock Exchange, and it has been listed on the Uganda Securities Exchange since the October, since the year 2010, 19th October. It trades under the ticker symbol NMG. As you can see, we don't represent companies by their names on the stock market, but we use the ticker symbols. And the ticker symbol for National or Nation Media Group actually is NMG. The International Securities Identification Number for the company is USE NMG is KE000380. Nation Media Group currently is the 14th most stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange, with a capitalization of about 116 billion shillings. And this represents about 0.535% of the total market capitalization of the Uganda Securities Equity market. Looking at now the index, maybe the performance of National Media Group. If you can just find a little look here, maybe we're looking back about 6 months ago as well, and we're looking at actually about 9 months because we look from around September 2021 to right now in July 20. That's about 9 to 10 months. The prices went up yesterday by 54.1. That is a 9.63% appreciation. But here on the market, we have seen the company hit 100 just this month. At the beginning of it, lost value to about 500, and that was after a very sharp decline in the month of June from around 690. That's almost close to 700, down to below 600. That was a really sharp decline in prices there for the counter on the market between the month of June and July this year. And looking at the prices before that month, in May, the prices were averaging about between 650 and 100 Ugandan shillings. That is the National Media Group performance between the month of May and July. Now, looking back before the month of May, actually during the month of May, the company also hit some highs of 700, and it kept fluctuating between 600 and 700, but hitting maximum of about 700 Ugandan per share. And that month of May, in particular the date before 22nd of May 2022, the counter was trading way below 700, and it was trading between 600 and 700. But looking at that upward trend, starting from the month, in the middle of the month of April and towards the end of the month of May, we are seeing the counter go up from the price of 500, actually 600 to 650 to 700. Top, the peaking of at 700 in the month of May. Then before that, in the month of March, we are seeing that the counter was actually on lows of 600. It hit lows of 600 after, of course, coming up from the deep of around 550, 559, 590. That is before the month of March, as you can see here on these figures on the graph. And then down to before the month of March, it was a steady pricing there between January and March at between 550 to 560 between the month of Jan and March. But before the month of March, we're seeing that the prices were quite fluctuative. They were fluctuating between 50 and 600. And we can see sharp peaks here and there, falling and rising because of the fluctuating prices between the month of December and January. Now, before December, we are seeing that the counter was actually, it came from a very high, peak here, and this kind of plateau here represents a price of about 800 in the month of September 2021. So we are seeing highs of about between 750 to 800 shillings back in 2021 September. And those prices came down between the month of October to November, down to around 700, and then they came still down in the month of November to December, and they came down to prices as low as 550, between 550 to 600. So monitoring the average performance, looking at the average performance of this counter on the stock market from the month of from the month of September 2021 to July 2, we are seeing the company hit very high prices on September, as high as in September 2021, and that of course saw a decline in prices to average between 600 to 700, and right now we are seeing the counter moving towards the 600 mark, just as per yesterday's market, where it gained 54.1 Ugandan shillings to a price of 615.72. Now, this is a symbol of a company that has various activity on the market. If you can see, if you hit 800 just about 10 months ago and now you are at 600, it means things are moving. The market has to move. Yes, definitely there are some highs and lows, but we are seeing that there is some activity within this counter, as you can see, prospective counter, because now if it is at 615 and the last 10 months it was 800 Ugandan shillings, it means it could go back to this, and definitely this is something to look out for in capital gain as well. It could go up and definitely could come back down as well. So who knows? We see the market and how it plays out in favor of this company or not. But at least we can monitor the last 10 months of performance and say that it's a good counter indeed. That is Nation Media Group, who was the top gainer in the markets yesterday. And definitely on the market, he has only one competitor, who is printing and publishing company, and New Vision definitely is domestically listed here in Uganda, while Nation Media is of course listed from Nairobi, the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Now we are also looking into when we look in sector into which the company is doing its services, it's offering. It's a media company, so it's dealing in media, in the media, and definitely if you're interested in investing in media, it's a good opportunity for you to do it with Nation Media Group. Now moving on, we are looking at the stock market in Uganda. Definitely there are other counters on the market, and looking at some other counters that performed on the market. We are looking at Bank of Baroda Uganda. Yesterday was trading at 80 cents, but did not trade any volumes, and neither was there any price movements, because the day before it was still trading at 80 cents. Then down to British American Tobacco Uganda. British American Tobacco Uganda was trading at 15,000. However, there was no volume traded on British American Tobacco, and it maintained the price of 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Centum Investment Company, of course, also listed from Kenya, was trading at 314.38. There was no volumes traded, but it lost a value of 10.18 Ugandan shillings yesterday. And then Cipla Quality Chemical Industries was trading, of course, and it ended the day with a gain of 1 Ugandan shillings to gain to 70 Ugandan shillings. Now, Cipla traded a total of 8,000 shares yesterday on the stock market. Remember, these pricings are not the standard pricings. You can always vary your price. If at all you're trading on the market, the Uganda Securities Exchange gives you a window of 15%, maybe 15% more or 15% less. So let's say for Cipla, if you are trying to trade on Cipla, on the Cipla counter, you can come and say, hey, I want to trade at 75 cents. And if this is within the 15% that is allowable, you are able to find a client, or you're able to find a customer or another individual who wants to buy Cipla shares at 75 Ugandan shillings. You can always do that. But then the Uganda Securities Exchange has special offers that it gives to companies. For example, yesterday during the National Insurance Corporation bell ringing event for the bonus issue the company was giving out to its shareholders, the CEO of the Uganda Securities Exchange, Mr. Paul Bwiso, actually mentioned that they were opening the market for 2 days, meaning yesterday and today, the market is open for National Insurance Corporation to trade at any price. I mean, any price. Currently, if we can check out the pricing for National Insurance Corporation at 6.2, you can come and say, I need to buy a stock at 10,000. You will be able to purchase. There are no limitations on the market. And this offer definitely doesn't last forever because it is something unique and something probably done intentionally to maybe allow people to trade on the market, attract more. And so we are looking at a market that is open and for any trading. If you want, you can sell at 3, you can sell at 10, you can sell at 10,000. It's open. It's an open day market. And I think it is still on today for National Insurance Corporation only. And therefore, it's some of the opportunities that the exchange creates for companies to grow, but as well for you to trade on the market. This happened for British American Tobacco earlier last year, or closing last year. And at the beginning of the year, British American Tobacco came down from a price of 30,000 to 15,000. Mr. Pobuso also mentioned why they do this is due to the fact that some counters maybe don't see any activity in the market for a very long time. And so to kind of create a laissez-faire, a kind of a free space for the market and to see that people can trade on the counter, they open the market, they open the prices, and people trade. So British American Tobacco came down from 30,000 Ugandan shillings to 15,000 just after that open day market trading, because maybe investors found that 15,000 was the worth of a stock at British American Tobacco. So the exchange gets the handles off, gets the hands off the handles, and then they say, hey, the shareholders, you decide what price do you want the counter to trade at on the stock market. So yeah, that was just a brief explanation of these figures may not be the strict prices unto which your deals could be tied, but at least they are the prices that are from the Uganda Securities Exchange that on average at the end of the day, they're the average prices that have been sold at. So by the close of the market, for example, Tipla traded at 70,000 on average, and therefore it comes out as the trading price for the day, at least to give us the 15% window around the figure. And people can now trade around this figure at the exchange at their convenient price. If you want to find a buyer, you must find one who is willing to buy at the price at which you're selling. And that's how the market really works. Down to DFCU company now. DFCU traded, went down, actually maintained the price of 550 Ugandan shillings per share. And then down to East African Breweries. East African Breweries also went up actually at 4,454.8. It went up by 63.64 Ugandan shillings. And the DFCU Bank yesterday, I failed to mention, traded about 116 shares on the market yesterday. Then down to Equity Bank Limited at 54.5. Is that it? At 54.5. Actually, it's not 54. It's supposed to be Equity Bank Limited at 1,463.72 Ugandan shillings. That was the trading price. This is not this is just a percentage increase of about 58.87 cents. Then down to Kenya Commercial Bank. Kenya Commercial Bank also went up by about 14.32 to a price of 1,349.17 as well. Then Kenya Airways maintained the price of 121.87, and there was no volume that was traded on the stock market yesterday. Then we move down to other companies here on the stock market yesterday. We have National Media Group at 615.72. It gained by 54.1. And National Insurance Corporation, we are not seeing any changes here, but at 6.2 Ugandan shillings. That was the trading price at which the market closed yesterday. Then New Vision Printing and Publishing Company, the only competitor for Nation Media Group there, was trading at 160 and did not trade any volumes as per the close of the markets yesterday. Then looking at Stanbic Bank Uganda at 21 cents, Stanbic actually traded a total volume of 2,655 Ugandan shillings on the markets yesterday. And then down to, when we look at Uganda Clays Limited at 17 Ugandan shillings, it went down by 0.37 cents. And this after a trade of over 720 shares on the market yesterday. Umeme Limited maintained a price of 230 Ugandan shillings, and definitely it maintained this price for the closing the market yesterday and did not trade any volumes. And then Jubilee Holdings at 7,955 gained by 159.10 Ugandan shillings. That was Jubilee Holdings Limited there for you. Now that was exactly what happened on the market yesterday for all your favorite counters. That's how they actually performed, and you can check out more on the Uganda Securities Exchange website. These figures keep changing because of the activity on the market. Right now the market is open, like I already mentioned. It opens every single day at 9, every single weekday at 9 a.m. and you can start trading. And definitely Altex, your number one partners in giving you a chance to trade on the stock market mobile phone by simply dialing *292 hash, and you follow the prompts and you will be able to get to a position where you access securities from all over East Africa. Man, this is so beautiful. Without internet, you can trade on the stock market. With internet, you can still trade on the stock market. So it's up to you. You can get started today, and you can start benefiting from that, activity on the market as well as you get returns on investment. Now, the trading summary for the day. Now, the Uganda Securities Exchange trading summary for the day July 11th, yesterday. At the end of the day, of course, this is the first weekday and of trading for the Uganda Securities Exchange. There was a total of 263,242 shares that were traded on the market, corresponding to a market value of 38.847 million. So roughly about 38 million was transacted on the market today. Compared to the previous Uganda Securities Exchange trading day, the data for Monday shows a slight difference, with improvements, of course. 55% improvement in volumes that were traded, 67% improvement in the turnover, and the current market capitalization of Uganda Securities Exchange is 21.7 trillion Ugandan shillings. Now, that was as per yesterday's market. We are seeing improvement. The volumes went up, also the turnover also went up as well, looking at the value of the shares that were actually traded. And in aggregate, only 5 Uganda Securities Exchange listed equities were able to participate in trading, ending with 6 gainers and 4 losers. So gainers beat the losers. So 6 gainers and 4 losers. If you remember on Monday, we only had about 1 gainer and a couple of losers there on the market. But we are seeing that we had 6 gainers of yesterday and only 4 losers. Nation Media Group led the gainers at a 9.63% share price appreciation, closing at 615.72 Ugandans, followed by Equity. Equity also went up by 4.19%. MTN also went up by 2.73%, while East African Breweries went up by 1.45%. On the losing side, Centum Investments, as mentioned here, Centum Investments also came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of about 3.14%, as we have seen. here. Then he was followed by Uganda Clays at 2.13%, and then he was followed by Stanbic Bank at 2.01%, and then down to Jubilee Holdings at 1.96%. MTN Uganda recorded the highest volume that was traded on the market of over 201,051 shares that were traded. He was followed by Uganda Clays at 50,720 shares that were traded yesterday, and Cipla came out with 8,000 shares, while Stanbic Bank came out with 2,650 shares. That was the stock market performance here in Uganda. Definitely, you can check out the website at www.smart24.com, and you can also get more of that action. Or you can visit the website for Uganda Securities Exchange and be able to trade on there as well. Open an SCD account and get to start transacting your shares. Thank you very much for remaining with us. We're going into another quick commercial break. We return with the Nairobi Stock Exchange.